Hello everyone, my name is Lina Rose and I am 41 years old. I'm interested in buying land in Kelang in which the vendor is Encik Azli. I will make payment by way of cash with 10% of the deposit. However, I'm not sure about the procedures.
Today, we from Rania and Partners will assist Miss Lina on what to do. This team consists of Rania Nabiha, Wan Nur Fatini, Niswah Aniqah and Nurul Syuhadah. Let's get started.
Pre-contract procedures. Under the pre-contract procedures, the first step in purchasing the land is that I will conduct an interview with the purchaser, who is Miss Lina. I will need to ask for a photocopy of her IC, the details of the land such as photocopy of the IDT, and the terms and conditions of contract between Miss Lina and Mr. Azli. The next step is that I will conduct a land search and also an insolvency search. This is to make sure that the land is fit to be transferred. There are several purposes of this search and inquiries. One of them is to make sure that the land is free from any restrictions of dealings, such as charge based on Section 241 of the National Land Code. In this situation, the land that Ms. Lina wanted to purchase is subjected to a charge to Maya Ban Berhad on 22nd of January 2012. Therefore, now we need to ask for a bank statement from Mr. Azli as the vendor, which is the redemption statement. As information, this can be done through a private search based on Section 384 of the National Land Code or an official search based on Section 385 of the National Land Code. As for the insolvency search, this is done in order to make sure that Ms. Lina is eligible to hold a land based on Section 43 of the National Land Code. The next step is to conduct inquiries at other relevant authorities such as Tenaga Nasional Berhad and Indah Water. This is to determine whether any renovation made on the land is complied with the law, and if there is any arrears, the payment advanced by Ms. Lina can later be set off in the purchase price. The last step before we proceed to formation of contract, I will advise Ms. Lina to inspect the land personally to prevent and avoid any unpleasant surprises on the land. That's all for pre-contract procedures. Now Ms. Niswah will assist you on execution of contract. Execution of contract.
So for today's agenda, we are going to go through some important documents that are very important for the process. Firstly, this is a sale and purchase agreement. It is a contractual agreement between you, Ms. Lina, and Mr. Azli, the vendor. And as the date would be 3rd of June 2021. And in this agreement, there are a few things that Ms. Lina needs to know, such as the clarification about the land in Kelang or any consequences in the event of breach, either from Ms. Lina's part or Mr. Aziz's part.
I see. So it must be put in writing?
Based on the case of Diamond Peak Sdn Bhd and 2D, oral contract is valid, but it is easier if put it in writing for references in future.
So here is stated all your rights and obligation on part of Ms. Lina and Mr. Azli, and you also must provide the 10% deposit together with the 3% retention sum, which would be 25,550 ringgit. Okay, good. Now the next document would be Form 14A. According to Section 215, Subsection 1 of National Land Code, provides that any transfer of land shall be using Form 14A. And for any entry of private caveat, it shall be done in Form 19B. And the withdrawal of private caveat shall be done in Form 19G. And Ms. Fatini will later explain more about the caveat. So the next two documents will be Form RPGT2A and Form 502. These two documents must be submitted to Inland Revenue Board as provided under RPGT Act. And Form 502 is the one that stated about the retention sum that I told you earlier. So the last agenda for today is the execution and attestation of these documents. So you may execute the documents by putting your signature here. And as para 3 of 5 schedule of National Land Code, the one who will attest the documents will be the land administrator, because the land in Kelang is Malay reservation land.
I will go to the stamp office to stamp the SPA. I will also request to Mr. Azli's solicitor to obtain the redemption statement from Maya Bank, the chargee of the land. Redemption statement is an account statement issued by Mr. Azli's bank stating first, the outstanding amount due and payable by Mr. Azli, and second, the undertaking to refund the redemption amount, which is the amount owed by Mr. Azli to his bank. To obtain the statement, it must be authorized by Mr. Azli as the account holder. To release the charge, payment to disperse the loan to redeem the land will be made. Maya Bank will execute Form 16N and forward the signed Form 16N, duplicate charge and the original IDT to me. This Form 16N will be presented together with Form 14A.
Post-contract procedures.
Since Ms. Lina has executed the sale and purchase agreement, now it is important to lodge a private caveat. This is because the title has yet to be registered, therefore a caveat will act as a formal notice to protect Ms. Lina's interests. I will first prepare Form 19B together with a statutory declaration. This statutory declaration needs to be verified by Ms. Lina or by me as the purchaser's solicitor. This is Form 19B, where the ground to enter into caveat must be stated. In Ms. Lina's case, she is entering into a caveat as a purchaser who has executed a sale and purchase agreement, paid the deposit, and is now in the process of claiming the title. Once this form is submitted with the prescribed fees, the registrar will lodge a caveat through an endorsement on the RDT. This is an example of the statutory declaration. There will be Ms. Lina's name, amount of deposit paid, particulars of the property and vendor, as well as the statement about the caveatable interest. At the same time, I will prepare to submit the RPGT form, or also known as CKHT. In this situation, Mr. Azli is the disposer and Ms. Lina is the acquirer. As the purchaser solicitor, I will prepare to submit Form RPGT2A to notify the Inland Revenue Board about the date and price of the acquisition of the property, together with a copy of the sale and purchase agreement. The most important form to be submitted to the Inland Revenue Board is Form RPGT 502, that is to pay the retention sum. During the execution of the sale and purchase agreement, Ms. Lina has paid 10% of the deposit. This is inclusive of the retention sum. Since Encik Azli is Malaysian, therefore the retention sum is 3% from total purchase price. Here is the calculation. The purchase price is 255,500 ringgit. The 10% deposit that has been paid is 25,000 ringgit, 550 ringgit. Therefore, the 3% of retention sum is 7,665 ringgit. As the purchaser solicitor, I will remit the payment of 7,665 ringgit to the Director General of Inland Revenue within 60 days from the date of the sale and purchase agreement.
The next step is the adjudication. Once the SPA and the Form 40A has been executed, I will request Ms. Lina to pay the full balance of purchase price, and upon receipt of the full balance of purchase price, I will send the Form 40A for adjudication at the Stamp Duty Office. To calculate the stamp duty, the formula under item 32 subsection A, first schedule of Stamp Act will be referred to. In the current situation, the actual purchase price is 255,000 ringgit, 500 ringgit. So for the first 100,000 ringgit, 1% will be multiplied from the actual purchase price, which amount to 1,000 ringgit. The remaining will be then multiplied with 2% and will amount to 3,110 ringgit. So the total stamp duty that Ms. Lina has to pay is 4,110 ringgit. After calculating the stamp duty, I will submit the Form 40A for valuation in accordance with Section 36, Subsection 1 of Stamp Act, which can be made either manually or online through the website. Upon receipt of noti taksiran being issued from the Stamp Duty Office, the payment of the stamp duty fees must be made to the collector of the stamp duty through the Stamp Office or online within 30 days from the date of the valuation notice, and the stamp certificate will be issued. The next step is the presentation of MOT in the Form 40A for registration. Beforehand, I as your solicitor will conduct a final land search at the Registry Office and withdraw the private caveat lodged before through Form 19G as provided under Section 325 of the National Land Code. Only then can I present the Memorandum of Transfer that is duly adjudicated and stamped together with the other relevant document at the Land Authority for the process of registration. The last step is the vacant position. I, as your solicitor, will instruct Encik Azli to hand over the vacant position. I will collect the new IDT from the Registrar Office bearing your name, Ms. Lina Rose, as the new purchaser of the land and deliver the new IDT to you.
Now the land is all yours.